Welcome back to class, everybody. I am your host and professor and wittiest Professor Ethan.
And I am your much more humble Professor Ricky.
Damn it.
Yeah, clearly. You set
I can't
yourself
win a
up.
humble game. I can't do it.
You set yourself up, and I just spiked you down for it. Teaser.
Ouchie.
Teaser. So
Good kill. Good kill.
Good kill. Chatspalu. So if you're wondering what we're talking about today, then you probably haven't seen the show we're going to talk about. But if you aren't, then you are quite the fan, because we today are talking about sports anime. Specifically, a volleyball show, a very hype, if not the most hype sports anime at the moment, Haikyu. And to come back to the show, we needed another expert, because this is another genre we are not well versed in. But we have had her on the show before, and she is an expert at not only romance anime, but also sports anime. Dannie from Anime Summit.
Woo!
I'm back, bitches.
Oh, she back.
She's back.
She back in this.
With a vengeance.
How are you doing today, Dannie?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, yeah. We have been using your beautiful gift.
Yay!
Yes. And
Thank you.
Our wall is a little less naked, thanks to you.
You're welcome. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So before we start, you did say a couple times in our group chat you had some words for us on previous episodes, both on the squad episode and on our episode with Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'd love to just kind of
Yeah.
clear the air here.
You know what? Hit us.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So the squad, you missed one. You missed a very important one.
We
Okay.
missed the Shoujo squad.
Sailor fucking Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. The Sailor Scouts.
So-
yeah. Assholes.
Let's just hand in our degrees right now.
No,
and it's
no.
our
Yeah,
give 'em
podcast
that.
Hey,
now.
Give 'em
here's
that.
my example. Here's my reasoning. So it's a show that we haven't watched. So how could we put that as one of our favorite anime squads?
What a fantastic counter argument.
Everyone at home, what do you think?
Bulletproof.
Still
Ironclad.
staple.
Is it my
To all
favorite though?
squads.
Is it my favorite?
I don't care about your favorite. You're
That
doing,
was whoa. What was the title of the episode?
but
My favorite anime
Our favorite
squads.
squads. However,
Whatever.
we did miss the Z Fighters.
you did.
We did, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
We also missed the Four Heavenly Kings of Ishgar from
Are we even weebs, dude? Like, are we even weebs? Like, okay, but fine. We missed the one big one.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
a couple big ones, whatever.
But-
Apologies
whatever.
accepted. It's fine.
We prostrate ourselves in humble apology.
Yeah. And your episode with your friend Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Were you jealous because his name is basically
My name?
your name?
Yours, but male.
No. I'm the cooler one. Okay. I got the colored hair.
Damn, shots
Hear
fired.
that, Daniel? You better be listening, because you
I got
just got
colored
shot.
hair and I got tattoos. And they're anime tattoos.
They are. They're actually pretty rad.
It's
I
true.
I cannot deny.
That is Weebologist standard.
Certified?
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
certified. Certified.
Fresh certified.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cannot deny. But what about this episode? What about the one with Daniel?
It was good, but I was majorly triggered by Daniel.
By the wanna-weeb?
Yeah.
The one who is as uneducated as they come to this?
Yeah.
He literally said in the beginning, "I don't know what the hell I'm talking about."
I
How
know.
could he trick? He wasn't doing it maliciously. The poor
I know
kid
he
is
wasn't, but like he used the wrong words. Like
So let's hear it. What was
Yeah.
it?
What
he used
wrong
the
words?
word for the animation. He used the word cheap.
Some of that shit can look cheap. If you've seen
It-
early Dragon Ball Super, look cheap
So-
as shit.
Okay, you say it didn't age well.
That's the thing. Like, how would he know that? How would he possibly?
So
know
like
that,
the
you know?
the idea behind that episode was like we're talking to a normie and we hope that he's gonna be like, "What the hell's up with all this shit on anime?" type
We
stuff.
welcome normies and weebs alike. That's the whole point of our show.
Right.
It's the whole game.
We
So
are
if you
the-
want a normie,
we're the
you better
bridge
you should
between
get
them.
a parent on.
We're
It's
looking.
coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're,
My dad wants to do an Attack on Titan episode.
Oh
Hashtag
boy.
do it
That'd
for-
be
Just
pretty
watched it all.
sweet.
He just
Okay,
watched it
cool.
all.
I'm about that.
hashtag
Well,
go
hey,
for the dads.
it's gonna come up soon.
I'm about that. Okay. All right. But yeah, no, he majorly triggered me when he was talking about like the like anime animation and how like cheap it was and everything. I was just like, it's
I guess
not
that-
cheap. They just like it's like what you guys said, you know, it's hand drawn.
Right.
Did you think
know.
we had a good rebuttal?
Yeah.
You
Most of
did.
this
Okay.
No, you did. You definitely defended the community.
Right.
That's what's up.
Really good. So,
That's
Me and
us.
fist bumps, yes! That's what we told him, is that like you have to remember that it's coming from comic books.
Yeah.
It's coming from a static medium.
Yes.
Originally, so you and Shonen Jump, it comes out every week for possibly decades.
well,
You need
literally
to keep
all
up.
manga magazines come out weekly.
Then there you
so
go.
like
So
mangakas and like manga artists, they're the most stressful. That's the most stressful job ever. Even
yeah.
Them
even
in South Park.
that's what we're talking
animation,
about. Yeah.
But also another perfect example of fantastic animation is Akira.
Akira
Is purely hand drawn. Even the backgrounds are hand drawn.
The entire movie
And
is
it's
Sakuga.
noticeable, but it is noticeable.
Yeah.
right? Like,
it is.
And it's old and stuff like that.
So-
That's definitely product of the time.
But I think, what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is, I think that's a little different because it was one movie. It wasn't like
True.
a bunch
Yeah.
of episodes
Yeah.
they had to do like right after another, so they had more time to spend on
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But like things like I had mentioned, Mobile Suit Gundam, they had all these episodes to do. They just had to freaking go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but thank you for giving us some props on our apologetics
You're welcome.
skills.
Turns
You guys
out
are
we're,
great. I enjoy listening to you guys. So
Hey, thanks.
Oh my god.
We got a couple episodes coming up where actually the one coming out, I think it is, what is it, December 7th?
Yes. So
Nope, 9th. I lied.
The 9th.
December 9th is we talk about our winter 2019-2020 anime that we want to
Oh,
watch.
fun.
Like hype and
Okay.
predictions.
But
yeah.
we actually gave we made some animes in our heads. So tell us if you hate the story.
Yeah, we theorized what possibly anime we could come up with instead of the ones coming out because some of them were just egregious.
It's gonna be baller.
Dude, that one's pretty lit. But
hopefully.
As for today's episode, we are talking about sports anime, which we had brought you in because you are not even a self-proclaimed sports anime expert. Your manga and your figurines and your watch list shows. You are so. The show that we decided to pick was the one that's most hype, and the season 4 is coming out in about. Yeah,
the 4th season is coming out in January.
By the time this episode you're listening to right now, you're probably super close to that premiere date. So if it hasn't come out already, get hyped for it because this show, Haikyu, fucking rips. It is so good. It is probably one of the best shows I've seen all year.
Right.
To be honest.
So the other thing is, I've been thinking of a way to do this without spoiling stuff, and I really just don't know how we're going to be able to do it.
No.
So
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
We're gonna
for the
tear
first
this show
season.
apart.
If you haven't watched the show,
You need to watch
literally
it.
stop watching and listening
Whoa,
and
whoa,
just
whoa, whoa, hold on.
wait, no, let me finish. God damn it. Like geez.
Don't you kill our viewership now. Hold
no,
on a second.
I'm just saying, like, stop listening and watching because there's gonna be spoilers. Watch the show and
stop
then
watching.
come back.
Don't stop watching.
Yeah,
Ricky,
yeah.
edit that
Or
in.
if you don't really
stop watching.
Or if you don't really care about spoilers, then do
Then
whatever
you're
fuck you
my
want.
best friend because I don't either.
I really don't care either. But honestly, this show, even if we spoil a little bit of stuff, it is still worth watching. And
100%.
We're about to dig into why. So,
I want to start off with tension.
tension.
I think this whole show is built off tension. Like every single kind of, I guess, set, if you will, since this is volleyball we're talking about. So, wait, first of all, have either of y'all ever played volleyball?
In high school.
I actually played intramural in college, like for fraternity league intramural stuff, because we would compete against other fraternities. I was never amazing, but I played a lot of tennis in my day. So net sports kind of translates some skills. I was a good server. That's the only
Okay.
thing I could really claim to fame.
I guess it's kind of similar.
Yeah. Other than that, I wasn't tall enough to be good. But neither was Hinata,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Shōyō.
So let's get Danny to do the synopsis of the show.
Oh
So
boy.
do you want? Did I put you on the spot here?
You
Do
can
you
read
want?
Mal. You can read Mal.
You can read Mal.
Okay. I mean, I'll read a little bit of it because sometimes Mal's synopsis sucks.
Oh, we know. We're well aware.
We could also just do it.
Yeah, we could just
Do it. Just do it. I
Okay,
don't like
so
doing
the
it.
show kind of revolves around this kid, Shōyō Hinata.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a little redhead kid. He's about 5'7", I think say.
He's my height.
It's like 5'5".
He is Danny's height, folks.
No, I'm not 5'5".
What are
I'm
you?
5'2", 5'3".
Damn.
It says he's 5'7".
Because Noya's
Well,
way
he gets
smaller than him.
so he gets taller, but in the beginning he's short.
Like
so
middle
he's
school time?
Yeah, like
Okay.
he's literally my height.
So it follows this kid.
But anyway,
it follows this kid
matter.
Hinata, and he's this little orange-haired jumping bean. And basically, in the beginning of the series, you see him with a bunch of like cobbled together friends who he like begged to come play a volleyball match with him, play in the tournament for middle school versus Kitagawa first. And they get absolutely shredded by this, specifically a setter by the name of Kageyama.
Now, Kageyama is kind of he's got a nickname, and he's called the King of the Court. For better or worse. He is a genius.
Specifically worse,
but he is a genius setter. His technical prowess at this as the setter position is unmatched at his age at this point, essentially. He is a genius in every right, but he is called the King of the Court because he is kind of, as they call it, a tyrannical dictator. He will put the ball in places where most spikers cannot hit it. And that kind of caused a disparity between him and any team he was on in middle school. So he thought he could do everything himself. He thinks he is the only person on the court for his team. His skills are great, but, as it says in the show, it's a
team sport.
It's a team sport. 6 people on the court because it's unfeasible for one person to be everything. So
basically, Hinata's team gets their asses beat, and then they kind of say, we're rivals from now on, and next time I see you, I'm not going to lose to you.
We do see some little bit of prowess out of Hinata in that game, though, right?
We do.
Well, he never gives up, and like all his teammates in that one first episode, I mean, well, for one, none of them on Hinata's team is
Are
a volleyball
players,
player.
right?
Like, one is a basketball player, another one is a soccer player. So, like, literally, Hinata's the only one that knows the rules of fucking volleyball and shit. So, but even his own teammates are like, well, we should just give up. We tried. But Hinata's like, but the game's not over. And, like, you just see his eyes lit because he's all like, I'm in a fucking, like,
So eyes,
game.
we will get back to that later because that's something serious I wanted to talk about. But so the reason that Hinata likes volleyball is he randomly stopped by this store that was playing Karasuno High School's game in their spring tournament, which they later go on to nationals and yada yada.
I think he was watching nationals.
They were watching nationals.
He saw the nationals.
Yeah.
He was watching nationals.
It was when Karasuno High was like at their top tier for their volleyball.
Right. And so there was this kid who was short like Hinata and was still the ace of the show of the high school.
The tiny giant.
Right. And so what the show basically goes on to do is him and Kageyama fortuitously meet at Karasuno for high school, and it's basically like this once vaunted prestigious volleyball school has kind of come down on their luck, but now with this new fresh injection of first year firepower, they have a chance of recapturing their former glory.
You really nailed it in that first half of that.
And that is really what the show is about.
Right.
And what we're going to talk about from here on is just like cooler shit that goes on, but like I don't think there's any necessity to tell you what happens. I mean, it's a sport
show, and like pretty much the trope for sports shows is that there's your side characters who talk about what the rules of the game and what happens.
That was actually very enjoyable in the show.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about volleyball in this show. And it didn't do it in a way that felt forced. It was only when you saw the position shine or a certain person in the spotlight, then they revealed more about the rules of volleyball, which
I liked when the audience was telling us. I did not like when the coach was telling us.
No, when the old community met, like the community association team would go watch Karasuno play, and they would be like, oh, this is what the libero does, and this is what happens if this is what's illegal if like someone were to touch it first. They can never touch it until someone else does. And it was fantastic, and it felt organic the way to learn the game through the show,
because they were actually teaching somebody next to them that was just watching for fun, right? First it was Oikawa's chicks, and then it was Yachi near the end, so they would kind of explain
Tanaka's older sister. So
who was hot as shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, a smoke show.
She was a smoke
show.
show.
So a little rundown with sports anime. Usually sports shows are really over the top, super exaggerated compared to the actual game. So, for example, in Kuroko no Basket, there's like the superhero, like
The zone.
quote unquote
Yeah.
superhero moves and like the zone and everything
The
like
zone
that.
is like their Super Saiyan of basketball. Like
Yeah, like super fantasy, like not really real for the sport. Whereas with Haikyu, I watched a YouTube video on like Haikyu versus real life volleyball, and they're pretty much one and the same. Like
That
all
was-
the
Well,
stuff.
because they don't do anything like honestly that crazy.
No,
It's just
they
like
don't.
you pick the most talented, like physically talented kids, and you put them on a team,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of what a lot of the different teams that they play throughout the inter high finals, and then also in the spring nationals. There's like
Right.
generally each player will have their like, oh, I'm a great server or I'm a great blocker type thing. And so that was cool. Like each team was built a little differently, and like I got really invested in that. I don't really know why, but you know, even within Karasuno's team, they're very strong in the areas that they are strong at, if that makes sense.
It does, and I think
They're high attacking power.
yes, they did a really good job of making them feel unique, but still within the relative reasonability within the sport, right? Because we can talk about like Hinata and Kageyama's like tag team thing. Kageyama is a genius setter, but no one was ever fast enough or could jump high enough to get his crazy erratic sets. However, along comes Hinata, who is so springy and so athletic. He reminded me of kind of like Gon from Hunter x Hunter.
Right,
Just
totally.
he's a short, stout dude, but could like jump and run like crazy. He was so
I
springy.
wish I had a figure of Hinata. But I
He's
don't.
great, isn't he? Just that set, like that spike move.
Yeah.
Their tag team attack was wild, but still within the confines of volleyball, where Kageyama would set right to Hinata's hand, and Hinata would actually jump as high as he could, swing as hard as he could, with his eyes shut. Mm-hmm. And he was trusting Kageyama just to have the ball there, ready to go. And it worked every time, and it was so fast that put them from a no-name to a weirdly good contender.
The broken crow, or
The
like
the
fallen
crow,
crows or
the
The
something.
wingless crow
Wingless
flies
crows,
again.
yeah.
The clipped crows.
Yeah,
They-
but
everyone,
what's crazy about that though is like that broad jump move that Hinata does is not like that far out of the realm of something you could do if you were
Right.
just a genius like jumper and hitter and setter, right? The things that are kind of weird is like when you know they change directions like instantly and somehow they're already on the other side of the court. That's the only times where it got a little bit out of hand, I think, from a like this is supposed to be realistic, and then all of a sudden it's like wham.
Yeah.
They like teleport to the other side of the freaking map. But other than that, it was extremely.
never felt unreal. That's all of
Yeah.
the like the same tension that you said. It because of that exact reason. None of the I Shield 21 stuff. None of the Prince of Tennis. Like I'm creating a black hole with the tennis ball.
Yeah.
No, it felt so. It felt
I
so.
hate Prince of Tennis. Like
No,
I
get into
can't
it. Get into it.
stand
No,
You don't
seriously.
say.
I
Yeah,
can't.
seriously.
I was not into Prince of Tennis at all. Like
I kind of liked it because it was cool to
couldn't.
see a superpower version of the sport that you do like to play.
Yeah.
But I can see where you're coming from. Like
It
I could never
was-
create a
it
black
was
hole
boring.
with a tennis
It
ball.
was, let's
You
be real,
couldn't?
It was fucking boring.
No,
I
apparently
could.
I could never. you couldn't. No, you absolutely couldn't. No one could. No one
Well,
could do
okay,
that.
whatever.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Let's get back in tennis court. Let's do it.
Yeah, my knee is still a little.
But
yeah.
the
Anyway,
boys healing.
moving
the
on.
boys healing.
So like we said, tension is kind of like, at least for me, one of the main things that you felt. But I think it was like purely human.
Yes.
Does that make any sense?
It
like,
was grounded.
Like it was so
natural.
grounded. And like these kids lost to these guys before. Like the tension is we're getting better. They're like the guys we're trying to beat, and like we've lost them before. I'm not gonna let that happen again.
That's something everyone's felt in some capacity, in some way. It even doesn't have to be sports. It's just any kind of competition. That's something that's a real human element to this show. And a lot of shonens that we do watch, you notice that the stakes get higher, worlds at stake. You can't relate to that. It's, even in some like the last episode you're on is about shoujo. There's I'd imagine Sailor Moon, though we haven't watched it. There is some world level stake at some point. While it's exciting to watch, it's not that relatable.
It's not because.
But you're not watching it
magical
for that
girls.
reason. Yeah,
like,
exactly. You're not watching it for that reason. But Haikyu, you are watching it for that human element. So
right, yeah.
I gotta say, there are parts in the show where I like shed a tear. I was like, oh my god.
I definitely never did that.
I did shed a tear.
I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely didn't cry. I mean, there are definitely some,
I'm saying I did.
Ricky's the only girl here.
there are some anime out there that I will fucking bawl my eyes out. Like Anohana. Excuse me, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
It's such a depressing show. But it's definitely on a real like a relatable level of never backing down and never giving up kind of thing.
And I would say more so than like Naruto, who had the same message, but it didn't translate the same.
Well, it's just that we're not
Can't
ninjas, and like we've seen volleyball in some regard. You know what I mean? We've seen volleyball.
Right.
And like you can find it in any sport you play.
Right.
Like for instance in tennis, you know, say you're the 6th ranked on the team, every time the first ranked versus the other school's first ranked play, it's like a big thing, right?
It's huge.
Or like I played hockey, there was these teams sometimes where AA, AAA players would come down and play with A teams just because they're their buddies.
Yeah.
And they would just destroy everybody, and they'd have 50 goals by the end of the season, or like 100 goals, and you're like, well, we got to play these assholes next week. You know, that kind of thing.
We got to do it now.
Or it's like, you know, you lose 6-3, and you're like, we never really were in this game.
But at least I never
it, yeah. I mean, I feel like I related to like Karasuno being the clipped Karasuno, you know, Crows type scenario, because there is times when like, you know, you're just physically not as good as the other team, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I think they did a good job of showing like you can try putting together all these new techniques and things like that, and you can score with the best of them. You're gonna be full of holes on defense, but all they focused on was that attack power, and obviously, as we know now, it's working for them.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about this show, Haikyu, is especially in the second season, first season is purely about Karasuno and their development of becoming the team that they are now, like that they are at the end of season 3. In season 2, what I liked about it is that yes, it's still about the team Karasuno, but they do shed some light on their opponents. So like especially the weaker teams that they've played. You know, I can't remember which one.
There's
which
the
one
Neko.
team? The guy. So like with this show, they're the teams, the different types of teams. There's like a theme. So like Karasuno are the Crows.
Yes.
The Tokyo team, I forgot what they're called.
The Nekos?
Yeah,
Is it the cats?
The Neko. Yeah, they're the cats.
Nekomas? Or,
Nekomas. They're the cats. And like all these different characters look like animals. So like there's that one Fuji.
The setter for Neko?
No, not the setter. Well, the setter from Neko looks like a cat,
He's
and
got
then
cat
also
eyes,
their new blocker, who's
the
the half
big
Russian.
dude.
Yeah.
Leaf.
Lev. He looks like a cat too. And then there's the fifth ranked spiker from Furodoko. Yeah, Furodoko or something like that. Something with an F. He looks like an owl.
Yeah.
So,
Furodokoni or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and Shirato Izawa's team is an eagle.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's like a side character who's really not important, but he kind of looks like a rooster in a way because he has.
Oh, like they call him rooster. They call him. Is that Onion Head or the?
No,
No,
it was
the
an
Onion Head is a
Head.
different person.
But he was a third year, and like I can't remember the name of the team.
No, the first year kid who just joined. It was not. He just joined Date Tech to fix
that guy. Yes, yeah.
Just,
but there was another one. There was another one that kind of had like little.
As you can tell, there are a lot of characters in this show.
It's really hard.
There are like close to 16 like separate teams that show up in this show, and they each have 6 important players.
Yeah.
But like that's I think the strength of this show is like I felt for the other teams just as much as I felt for Karasuno. In fact, in a lot of ways, I liked Aoba Josai more than Karasuno.
Oikawa?
Yeah.
I like Oikawa a
He's
lot.
my favorite
Oikawa
character.
is a beast.
He's my favorite character.
He's a legitimate beast.
He's grace under pressure. That's how he's described, that he's just under the most pressure situations.
The Great King.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
king.
as Hinata calls him, the Great King.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned season 2 about how it was a little different. I mean, season 1 was definitely about the team development. I do like also season 2. While I did before the episode, I said it was a little bit weaker next to a very strong season 1, and the bit of season 3 that I watched, I'm gonna finish it, I promise, because I want to watch season 4 in full. But season 2 I did like because they not only explored the other teams, but some individual players on Karasuno as well. You know,
It's so weird because I actually thought 2 and 3 were significantly better than 1.
I don't know.
And I'll tell you why.
I liked 1 a little better, but let's go. Let's get into it.
I think, you know, in the beginning, like, I was struggling with some of their choices to just, like, keep slamming it at the hand, right? And it's like, if I'm that guy playing and I have that kind of skill to get up there, I would start doing the lob shots, the feints, stuff like that they started doing.
But then the
Suki's
other
feint
opponent
was so good.
The other opponent would catch on, and that's what they showed. That like
No. In the first season, all they did was like super crazy quick attack, right, where he had his eyes open.
And he finally learned
Okay,
how to do
yeah.
a
But
normal kind of, and then the superhuman fast attack, and that's the
Right,
two
right.
like main things.
But it took him until that Fukurodoni kid, the owl boy, teaches him about the feint, or the pass
block
off
it,
their hand,
and even block it, like actually hitting the blocker's hand so
Right.
that you get a second chance,
like a rebound
that's
pass
how
type
you
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
do it as
Yeah.
a middle
Like
blocker. The one
those are the
touch
kinds
style,
of things like I think I would learn as I was playing, and I know that they can't just say like I'm sure it would feel less or it felt inorganic to me, but I think, you know, maybe like an internal monologue would have been just as good to say like, oh, you know what, maybe I should try this, that kind of thing, and then like have him do it and it works. But what they're trying to really portray is like you learn from your higher ups or senpais from all the different schools, right? And that's what I loved about the second season.
Yeah, the training camp.
The training camp
Training
was
camp-
the bomb.
Yeah.
The
that was
training
really
camp
cool.
arc was really amazing, especially for Suki's character development.
Kageyama.
Yeah, like,
I didn't even say
Hinata.
I gotta mention, like, he was basically trying to pull Kageyama out of that you're the only guy on the field mentality.
Court.
And then he started court, field, pitch, whatever. He tried to pull him out of that, and then in season 2, he started to fall in it himself. He felt like I need to be able to spike just me, like not with Kageyama at my side. And Kageyama had to be the guy to say, no, I will adapt. I will toss the ball to you in the ways that you want.
well, that was the thing. Like with Kageyama's a fucking asshole, and he's all about me. I'm the setter. I have this genius way of setting that I can let any wing spiker get a hit on it. So, but in reality, that's not what setting is about, you know. And it's exactly what Awakawa said to Kageyama, like, you're not the one who's calling the shots. It's Tiny who's calling the shots. Like, he's the one who's supposed to be calling the shots, not you. And that's why Oikawa is so good at being a setter, because he can connect with all his wing spikers.
Who mentioned, was the great champion, what's his name for the Eagle School?
Ushijima.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he
mentioned
said
to
it too.
Kageyama that, you know, Oikawa's, his strength is he can bring out the 100% capacity of any spiker.
Yeah.
Because he understands his role as a setter, that I am here to devote myself to you, and that actually got turned on his head when he was like, he should have devoted himself to me. When Hinata at that point was like, no, we're a team.
Yeah.
Like, we're it's a mutual thing. So,
Yeah.
But like, you did see like throughout the show, like there was obviously significantly better talent on a lot of different teams.
Oh yeah.
Like for instance, Karasuno is like fairly weak in most areas. They just had
at the
one
training-
guy that's like a god at fielding.
Yeah.
And then Daichi's pretty good, and then they had like 3 basically good spikers, you know, like their ace isn't as good at the Evan ace as like all these other aces that they're playing and stuff like that.
Well,
but it was like a team that got them
with
where they needed
Asahi.
to go.
The thing with Asahi as an ace as a whole, like, and they even said it in the show, you know, Daytech, the Iron Wall, pretty much tore
Aussie's
Asahi's
ass open.
Yeah,
Tore
like,
him asunder.
They like broke his pride as a spiker because they kept blocking all his shots. So
Right.
and like he pretty much broke, like he was a broken crow.
Yeah.
So like his wings are broken.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, but
is that a kickback?
It's a kickback.
That's
but
a
what I'm
kickback.
saying
You got
is,
yourself a kickback.
this is where I was struggling. Is like the easy way to do this is start going cross court or something like that. But
Use
like,
the full width, baby. Use
but
the
it
full
seemed
width.
like before the first years, who went like way above and beyond in terms of like training, they seemed to not give a fuck and they didn't train enough, and that's why they got their asses beat. Or like, you could see some teams later on in the tournaments where all of them had jump serves or, you know, a floater or something like that, and like half of Karasuno is still doing the crappy little like easy serve.
Yeah, and I think
And that's where, like, for me,
yeah.
just go serve 1,000 times every practice. They had all the like,
But they got
building
better
blocks.
though. So Asahi definitely like
Got a jump
it's
serve.
that whole training camp.
Right. It
That
was
whole
brilliant.
training camp arc
brilliant.
with them kept just losing after team after like against after team that was at that training camp, and with certain other powerhouse teams that had that that ace serve. That's when Asahi was like, I really got to work on my serve. And that's when he started to getting the kill serve.
Azumani's
It's not
killed,
as
yeah.
it's not as powerful as Oikawa's.
Yeah.
Because fucking Oikawa's serve
Like,
is
so crazy.
monster.
It's like lightning.
But Azumani's he's got the power in general. His spike is still the OG powerhouse.
yeah.
So if he translates that to a serve,
Tanaka's stronger, just saying.
we go
Like, honestly, clearly.
Okay, then let's get into it. Let's get into the Karasuno team. Like, let's talk about the Karasuno.
Karasuno.
Whatever. It's the
Karasuno?
same
Yeah.
thing.
Same thing. Karasuno, whatever. But let's get
Karasuno.
into the team. Let's get into the Crows. I think, who in general is your favorite character on the team?
Oh, me?
Oh,
I know
yeah.
who yours is.
Oh, yeah.
Who's mine then?
Suki.
Yeah, it is Suki.
I like Suki
Suki
a lot.
is a fucking asshole.
Tsukishima.
But I love Tsukishima. I personally, I mean, just because I have the figure, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, at first I did like Hinata.
Of course.
You know, fucking short little guy in this room full of like 6 feet tall players.
But out there crushing it with the best of
yeah,
them. Yeah.
so like he's definitely an inspiration because I'm short, so and it's like
So you're feeling like
okay, yeah, like shortness,
short kings,
power.
baby. Short
yeah.
kings. But side note,
when-
isn't he like an Asta from Black Clover, just like less annoying? He was that's the vibe I got. Even the same hair, just different color.
Pretty similar, yeah.
All right, time in. Hit me.
Hinata came first,
True.
just so you know.
For all you not YouTube gang, she just daggered at me with her eyes.
It's fine.
Whoa. Whoa. But yeah.
The camera's too far away to see the daggers.
I'll
but-
edit some in. I'll edit
We
some
can
in.
literally zoom in. Anywho,
But yeah, so you used to like Hinata, but it was Suki
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah.
that-
Suki definitely won that round.
well, like from middle of season 2 to the end, he has the most change by
yes,
far.
yeah.
He actually
Like
gives
in
a shit.
season 1, he definitely does not change. He's just there because he's tall and, you know, his brother used to play and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Well, 'cause, like,
he all Tsukishima thought of volleyball. It's just a game. That's all he thought, you know, until season 2 where he had a major character development.
It's 'cause
And skill development.
yes.
For sure.
His technique
yeah.
went off the
Yeah.
charts.
What was it? Because he was afraid to get invested because of.
He wasn't afraid. It's just that so you don't really in season 1 you don't really understand why Tsukishima is the way he is until season 2, until you really find out the real reason on why Tsukishima is such an asshole and why he's not willing to develop with his team. Because in season 1 he's just playing, like he's just being that middle blocker because he's tall, right. And he is a valuable player, and even Daichi even said it. But like in season 2, even Suga, he was even saying what if Suki quits and stuff, and Daichi's all like, if he tries to quit, I'm not gonna make him, like he's gonna stay on this fucking team, like I don't give a shit, like he's staying.
Hell yeah. I gotta say Daichi he's up there for one of my favorites.
Like honestly, the whole team,
it's so good. I mean,
a lot of good characters,
but
for like the starting 6, there's no loser, like bad character.
No,
I like Noya a lot. I think just because of not just his character, his super rolling thunder kind of like super bombastic like personality, but he also the position of libero. Like I didn't know much about volleyball until I watched this show, and I resonate with
Noya.
Yeah. Noya is like being a libero. You are the backbone of the team's mental support. Like he has to be that bombastic guy because that is what a libero is for the rest of the team, and I love that idea.
Noya is my second favorite.
He's such a wholesome boy. Like
Suki.
He's such a good dude.
Yeah.
But it's either him or Daichi for me. Daichi, just the way he's such an awesome team captain. So few words, yet very inspiring to his team. But when he gets mad, he is so scary.
He kills you.
That is the funniest part, is they all get so scared of him. And
he kills you
so
with kindness.
Calm.
He's so freaking calm, but like obviously you can see like the angry symbol on him and stuff. There's a Nindoroid for Daichi, and it's so funny because like there is this one, because with Nindoroids you can change their expressions and stuff like that. You get like extra faces and like extra arms and stuff. So for Daichi, they have him smiling, and his fist has the angry symbol on it, and it's so freaking awesome, and I want it.
That's pretty cool. I'm into that.
But yeah.
Who else on the team?
My favorite is Tanaka because he's clearly the absolute highest scorer on the team. So
time the fuck out.
Hinata
no.
easily gets them through the first season and a half, by far the highest scorer, and then but second was Tanaka, and then third Asahi, which is ridiculous. Let that guy score the most points, but he's just not as good as Hinata. Like it's just like very clear he doesn't have the skill set to be an ace.
Tanaka is just that brute force dude on and off the court.
But like
Azumane is like, he's kind of a wimp off the court. I kind of love him for that though. He's a big old softie.
I like him for that, but I'm saying like in terms of the 3 spikers, there's a very clear like hierarchy in my opinion of like who scored the most points throughout the show.
Somebody on Instagram like go back and do the math and see how many points these people score on screen, and we'll see. If you do that, we'll give you a prize or something.
That's fine.
But
I'm just very, very confident that Tanaka had the most points, especially when it mattered near the end. I feel like also he kept crumbling. Like his serve was good and all that, but he never would like do anything spike wise.
He was the back attack master though.
Yeah,
he was the dude. Yeah,
that's fine, but your ace is supposed to be hitting the ball like 90% of the time,
that is true.
The decoy hits it more.
Well,
the last match,
so here's the
Hinata
thing.
wasn't even basically in the match.
Here's the thing with Haikyu. Haikyu is mainly about Hinata and Kageyama. Asahi is a side character. Plus, he's a third year. So after nationals, he's gone.
Right.
No. You know.
Well, they can't like have you invest in him.
But it hurts to hear.
But also, you know, the story is really focusing on Hinata because he's so short and he's so little, and you know he's technically they're developing him into the tiny giant. That's why Asahi, you don't really see Asahi getting a lot of those spikes a lot.
That's a good point.
Well, yeah.
Even Yachi calls Hinata the tiny giant without knowing who,
Yeah.
which is actually one of the cool scenes for me because he's turning into it without her even realizing who he is. So
I need to read more of the manga because I really want to find out. I want to see the face of the tiny giant. Like, I want him to make an appearance.
He's gonna show up.
I know he's gonna show up, but like, he needs to show up now.
Can I make a prediction?
When they go to nationals,
ahead.
why wouldn't he be there?
Who is the coach with the glasses? I think he is actually the OG tiny giant. Takeda, he's just the sleeper, and he's trying to like play it off like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Way.
I know.
Wait,
I
are you
know.
talking about the advisor?
Yeah.
No.
So one thing I was watching. Okay, listen. I know it's total. Get your kids, students, get your tinfoil hats on.
This is so bad.
I wanted him.
Get your tinfoil hats.
I wanted him to be
Where
the
is
tiny
he?
giant at the end because like he's timid, he's a little older now, and he's just an advisor, but like he's slowly what other stake does he have in the volleyball club?
He's a faculty advisor.
First
Right,
of all,
right, but
no,
why him?
first
Why
of
him
all-
than anybody else?
Wait,
Why him?
no, that can't happen because in the beginning he even said it. I'm a novice in volleyball. I know nothing.
If you want
I
to
know
be low key, you'd want to pitch that.
Tinfoil hat.
Tinfoil
losers.
hats, kids. I'm just playing. I thought it'd be fun when I was watching. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if? But speaking of coaches, I kind of like the coach.
Ukai.
Oh, Coach Yukai.
He's such a good dude. Like, but he never wanted to do it in the first place, right? Because
Nope.
he's the
Nope. He's
grandson
all
of
like-
the OG coach.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. He's all like, I'm not doing it. That was my grandpa. I'm just going to sit here in my shop and smoke my cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that.
Psych. He then comes in and coaches the hell out of him, and he's a great coach, which is funny. He used to play, maybe.
Yeah, he he was part of he went to Karasuno.
Yeah.
And he played with the tiny giant.
He wasn't the best though, right?
I don't know. See, that's the thing with Coach Yukai. You know things about him, but also you don't really know things about him.
Right.
I actually think he's older than the tiny giant because Kay's brother would know him directly then if he was on that team.
Right.
He was. Yeah, he was. Coach Yukai was, I think, a little older when the tiny giant came. I think Coach Yukai was a third year when the tiny giant came. I'm not sure.
I don't think they played together, but it would be very close.
So what you guys are telling me, it's purposeful that they're hiding the true identity of the tiny giant, so maybe that identity is very important to the story-wise somehow?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So,
I still have to read.
Okay, right. Fair enough.
Right.
So you're saying that the answer lies somewhere inside of that stack.
Yeah, well, not that particular stack, but yeah.
My guess is he's in the pro league, and then once Hinata and Kageyama finally get there,
he's up there
because they got to
waiting for
fight. They've got to beat Oikawa. They got to beat Ishijima again, and they're all going to be pros at some point.
Well, I mean,
that's my guess.
They're still in high school #1, so and nationals haven't even happened yet. Mm-hmm. So, when the fourth season comes, they're not even going to nationals just yet. It's another training camp arc.
Training arc.
Well,
some of the best
but
arcs.
these are the best for this show specifically. I think a lot of shows' training arcs are pretty whack in a lot of ways, but you feel like you're getting something out of these. You're seeing like genuine character growth, not just like skill growth and stuff like that. But also you're getting to see like who they're going to be up against. Because you remember Fukurodoni makes the national tournament. Nekoma made the national tournament. And like some of the other schools that they played against.
Pretty much all the schools that were at that training camp are going to be at nationals.
And so, they're getting their asses beat the whole training camp, but they're starting to lose by less, right? And then near the end, it's like, wow, these guys they're making some serious strides. And then you realize like, they really made some strides because they just, made it to this national tournament with these other schools that they'd been playing and getting their asses beat by so much. And now they all made it.
The reason why the training arcs being very important for this show more than others and being better utilized than this show more than others had me thinking the same way throughout this entire show. And I think it's because of a matter of shonen scale. when you look at big shonens like Naruto and Bleach, you're at world level events, so the amount you have to get better is this massive leap of spectacle and showmanship. But in shows like this, where the entire spectrum of skill is within human grasp, like every little inch feels important. Teamwork is in that inch. Skill
this is my
in that
type
inch.
of shoujo.
Yes,
Shonen.
Shonen. Yeah.
Well, that plus it's
Yeah.
like high school students, so like you can make a lot of strides in a season where, you know, if it's all professionals, right? Like professionals don't change that much between season to season because they're kind of near the top of the potential.
Yeah.
But they're down here in the like, you know, exponential part of the curve.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot that they can do to improve. And then obviously coming from a team that has been getting their asses beat for, you know, 5-10 years at this point, like it's like there's so much they can do to just kind of like make a difference.
Imagine if the 4th season they learn how to use ki.
Or nin.
Yeah, or
My
nin
nin
or
ability.
chakra, and they started going full ham, like superpower and super. Yeah, would people be
My
pissed?
nin ability is bungee gum.
Bungee
It has
gum.
both the properties of bungee and gum.
Do you think that the audience
Rubber and gum.
would shift, or and the original audience would be pissed as fuck, or do you think the original
Yes.
audience would?
No,
would
they'd be
okay?
pissed.
But would there be a shift? Would they still have the same numbers if it went full superpower season 4? Would they have the same number of viewership?
I think people would watch it just to see what would happen, but
I
I don't
think
think
I
they'd
might.
like it.
Would you watch it if they went full superpower season 4? Would you watch it?
It looks like a no.
That
based
looks
on
like
the,
a hard no. YouTube gang just saw all that.
the eyelash.
mean-
Literally no comment.
It'd be a completely different anime if
Of course.
they did superpower moves and shit like that.
Mhm.
Like, it'd just be Kuroko no Basket.
Yeah, so
Like-
you think the strength of this show lies in its realism?
Yes.
And they managed to make tension out of the
Yes.
realism. Okay. I mean, so that was a hard yes. You really don't want superpowers in this show, do you?
I mean, okay, well, no, I don't, because it's developed really well, and it
really has.
It doesn't need it. Like, it really doesn't need it.
So a shonen without superpowers is still very possibly a good shonen.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
Haikyu is a
disagree.
perfect example.
Well, like it's
Like,
stakes, right? It's the same thing we always talk about for shonens and stuff like that. Is like the stakes are insanely personal to each of these players.
And
that's
you
the
can relate to
difference.
that,
It's
yeah.
not like the world is at stake. It's my pride is at stake, or
I
I'm
wanna
about to get my
win.
ass beat.
Yeah,
I want to play
yeah.
more volleyball for Hinata, right? And Kageyama.
That's what really happened in season 3. Like, the final battle between Karasuno and
Shiratorizawa!
Yeah, Shiratorizawa was, you know, the final match is 5 sets. It's not 3 sets. So
I made it to set.
like but you would think, yeah, they started to become exhausted and everything, but you just saw the light in Hinata's eyes telling Kageyama, we get to play more. Like, that's all Hinata wanted was just to play, because he never got the chance when he was in middle school. There wasn't even a fucking volleyball team when he was in middle school. He was the volleyball team, and he didn't even do any real matches. This is where Hinata can shine, is in the spring tournament that's happening right now. So,
Couple things.
the show is
First
so
of all,
good.
I thought it was really weird the way that they do like the inter high championship in the beginning, then like basically the season's over until
Yeah.
the spring. That
Yeah.
was weird as hell because like that's not common for like sports, at least in the US. Generally there's a season where you have like some record over a bunch of games,
Yeah.
and then you like make playoffs or you don't.
Well, that was the thing. This is a club, though. This isn't like I didn't think this was like a school like official team, right?
Japan's
It
so
is.
It's more like
official.
so club is like their official
Yes.
teams, but
Yeah.
everything was like practice games though. Outside of these tournaments, it's all practice games.
But that's what I'm saying is it's like a weird ass season. Like the
Well, that's
club
the difference.
hockey team at Clemson had a full season to play, right? And so it's like a club team can still have a season, but I guess it's just
completely
a
different in
Japanese
Japan
situation.
Yeah.
Hit me with it. Like what is it actually like in Japan when it comes to these
like
clubs?
what we just watched.
Well,
I guess so.
pretty
Really,
much
is it just-
exactly what we just watched. So like how the school system is in Japan, technically their year starts in April.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
That's why, you know, with the third years, that's why I think in the end of season 1 when they lost to Ajos.
Albajosa.
Yeah, but when they lost, like, you know, that was it for the third years, like, but Daichi, Suga, and Asahi decided to stay because they wanted to go to spring nationals. And that's the thing with Japan's school system, that you only get 3 years. So they're not called like sophomore, you know, there's
really
no
unique,
freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. There's just first year, second year, third year. That's it.
Interesting.
And so since their school system starts in April, not in September like it is here, because how they do school in Japan, they have school all year round. So they have school in the spring, they have school in the summer, they have school in the fall, and they have school in the winter. America, we start in September.
Yeah.
We start in the fall, okay? Then we end in the summer.
May-ish.
Well, down here it's in May, up north it's in June.
Yeah, it's like early June, right?
Yeah, because down here, since school starts technically in August, down here at the end of the last week of August. Up north it starts in September. So that's the difference. Also, we have what is it? Like, so in the South we have like May, June, July, and some August. There's no school.
Right.
But in Japan, they're having school in August and July.
Yeah, they
and
get
June.
like 2-week breaks or
They get
1
2-week
week breaks, but it's
yeah.
nothing like
They're
serious.
constantly.
You remember from like Assassination Classroom and shows like that, they kind of talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I can get
So, and that's number one. And well, this is kind of political coming in my political opinion in my standpoint.
Here we go.
The political opinion incoming.
They. When you have that 3-month gap of not doing any school, you forget a lot of things.
Are you kidding? I forgot everything. There is not some. I forgot all the things.
But you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You have that 3-month gap. You have to relearn everything that you learned in your previous year. If you have school constantly, even in the summertime, it's still fresh in your brain.
That makes a sense if I can have it 3 years instead of 4.
Yeah.
Because then you can have a full high school experience because you have that extra
Yeah.
Because
not only that, but they have elementary school and they also have middle school.
Right.
So, and again, they have school all year round.
Right.
So they have all this math and everything, and that they're learning fresh in their brain. They're not forgetting anything.
But these kids don't care about that. They just care about volleyball.
But
they have more time to play year round, which is a consistent practicing schedule, which you're right. So that made the third year's leaving kind of, or at least the third year's staying mean so much more.
Because they wanted to go to nationals and they decided to stay.
Right.
And that's pretty much why the whole like aspect of the teachers like saying to the advisor, like, talk some sense into these third years because they need to take their entrance exams for college and stuff. But they still wanted to stay because they want to take Karasuno to nationals.
I think the whole grade thing is very humanizing too. Like, these kids who are kind of semi-geniuses at a sport were kind of not really even slaying it at modern Japanese.
Like, got a 20 on
got a 20 out of 60.
Yeah.
That's
not saying I haven't been there before.
Who hasn't? I mean,
you want to know the lowest grade I ever got?
What'd you get?
A 9.
I once got a double digit, but barely, like a 15.
I got a 9.
You got a 9? What'd you get a 9 in? What grade
Statics
was that?
and dynamics in college.
Holy shit! You got a 9?
I mean, they did it on purpose, though.
You got yourself a paper, yeah? You got yourself that
degree,
though.
I've got the degree,
baby.
C's get degrees.
C's get degrees. What about 9s, though?
Look, when the highest score is a 45, a 9's not that bad.
That's the highest. That's a curve. Did you get curved up?
Oh
yeah, the curve, baby. Curves are dumb. But at the end of the day, this anime shocked me.
Wait, I want to say something about the eyes. If you're not going anywhere for real.
Anecdotal. Hit me. Yeah.
Cool.
Hit me with the eyes.
So
We also got to talk about the animation too.
I know. That's what I was about to talk about.
Okay,
But
good.
the shocking.
well,
but
we can kind of go with that. With studio.
we'll
What's
roll
the
with
studio?
It. The studio was production IG.
Right.
And fantastic.
They
work.
also helped on Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing, and I'm making a parallel between the deep kind of art and animation stuff they put into the eyeballs of both of those shows. I think, you can see very clearly in Haikyu when somebody really wants the freaking ball. You can see it in their eyes. You can see laser focus.
Yeah, you saw it with Hinata when him and Kageyama went and to that great champion. Keep forgetting his name. You name the great champion of Japan.
Usajima or whatever.
Usajima, yeah. When he was telling them that you guys are essentially dirt.
Right.
When his eyes like kicked into almost like
Well,
predatory mode.
Yeah.
Whoa, that
Well,
was
that was the
crazy.
That's
thing.
the other thing. They're
Yeah.
all very like snake-like or bird-like, very
Yeah.
like pointed,
Mm-hmm.
jagged eyes,
They
and like
pierce you.
Yes.
Tendo from his team, the read blocker genius, Gesseblocker.
Guess the black.
He had crazy ass eyes too. He just like stare at people, and then like they did a lot for like Suki's eyes, right? Because he was constantly watching and like learning.
Yeah,
as
and when
he
he
was
jumps up, like you can see the terror of like I'm gonna fucking block you,
Right.
And you're
as
not
season
gonna
2 went
stop
on, it got more and more intense. I
Yeah.
noticed that because in season 1, his nothing, just nothing there.
Pan face.
But then as season 2 went on, as he started to realize this is more than just a game to me now, he got the eyes.
Yeah.
He got like this really piercing look.
But this is gonna sound dumb as shit, but that's the kind of thing that you can like legit see when you're playing against like a phenomenal player.
You would see it a lot in tennis too, when it's one-on-one, mano-a-mano, when someone's ready to look for a serve and you can tell they are ready to get.
There's this
into
asshole
it.
that I'll never forget. His last name was Krom. Krom. He was a kid that I was talking about that was AAA that dropped back to play with his friends.
Yeah.
Well, it was a Greensboro team, and he scored like a ridiculous amount of goals and all this shit. But like, we just knew he was better than us. Like, just physically, like you could like feel
He
it.
had the look. He had that ambiance. He had that.
Well,
aura.
because like it sounds weird to say like, oh, you'd see his aura, but like you can sometimes just feel when there's just like overwhelming pressure.
Yeah,
from like an opponent.
Competition, that was 100%.
And that's what I loved about like Ushiwaka or whatever his name is.
Ushiwaka.
yeah.
No, his name is not Ushiwaka. It's
not
Wakoshi
Wakatoshi.
Ushijima. That's
Okay.
it.
Ushijima.
Wakatoshi.
Wakatoshi.
Wakatoshi, baby.
Wakatoshi, damn it.
Wakatoshi, baby.
No, when he really wanted
Best
the ball, you could see like the
Give me the ball.
right,
The aura.
like the
yeah.
aura and the
Yeah.
like killing intent, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's like with that one scene when Kageyama kept giving the set to Hinata to get all the spikes and stuff, and I can't remember who mentioned it, but someone mentioned to Asahi like, dude, you're the ace, so like you need to make sure that these first years know you're the ace and everything like that. And there was a point in time where there was a set coming and Hinata was about to go and get it, but he like hesitated and looked at Asahi, and you saw
Right.
the aura
Yes.
coming off like, no bitch, that's mine, like I'm the ace, so back the fuck off.
The visuals in this show, I gotta say, are masterclass at this point. Like Hinata was very sensitive to pressures on the field when the first time he met Kageyama.
Court.
Yeah. Did I keep saying field?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine.
On the rink.
On the rink. On the court.
Do I keep saying that?
Did I keep saying it? I keep saying it. So on the
Uh-huh.
court, when Kageyama walks by him for the first time, that showed him with like a crown and a cape on, and he was like,
Yeah,
"Whoa, wait,
Kageyama,
I felt that." And basically, for all you animation nerds out there like me, if you like animation and you like your Sakuga, watch this fucking show. Like, I cannot stress enough how beautifully this is animated. Put it this way, they have the same amount of frames for someone setting up for a spike and jumping as they do for like Tanjiro in Demon Slayer going in for the kill.
Right.
And they again, same amount of frames, but for movement across like 25 feet instead of like 100 yards. And
So mentioning the Attack on Titan kind of parallel,
Yeah.
since they sort of helped with that. Like, remember that fight scene with Levi flying through the like city?
Oh, beautiful.
really stark contrasted lines, and like anytime something serious is going on, you saw like their body would have all these deep dark lines, and it would show like immense speed or something like that.
Fantastic.
And it felt
sense
exactly
of scale.
like when Levi did that whole thing.
Yes, fantastic sense of motion. Everything felt extremely natural. There was even a scene where Kageyama and Hinata were standing up, because remember when Hinata said, "Don't ever apologize for tossing a ball to me," and he said, "Are you guys going to stay down there and stay weak, or are you going to get up?" Just them rising, I couldn't even count the number of frames there. It was so smooth. I thought it was CGI. I had to go on a forum on Reddit. It's like, is there any CGI in this show? And they're like, hardly no. Like literally, it's all hand drawn. And I was like, oh, Sakuga, let's go. But yeah, if you're a visual, like an advocate for visual, beautiful motion as I am, and Sakuga and stuff, watch this show. You will not be disappointed.
If you even want another beautifully animated sports show, watch Hanebado. What's that about? It's about badminton. And it's not...
Yes,
I heard it was good.
We watched the OP about that one. We were at Panera. Yeah. It was quite crisp. That OP was very, very crisp.
Yeah,
gotta say.
The OP alone is...
yeah, you're in it.
Bellissimo.
Exacta.
Exacta.
So at the end of the day, your final score for the first 3 seasons of this show.
96.
96? 96
Volleyball, Craven kids out of 100.
I gotta say, it's probably just a click under that. I try not to go, there's rare hundreds in my world.
98.
No, 95 out of 100 broad jumps. Easy.
Oh, nice.
Easy. What you got, Danny?
And Oikawa was my favorite character by like a large margin.
Him or Noya. Something about Noya really
I like
struck a
Kuro
chord.
too from Nekoma.
Yes, he was super cool. Is that the who is the setter? Is that him?
That's
The-
Kinma.
Okay, I liked him a lot too.
Koro is the black-haired kid.
He's
They're
the
spiky
captain.
head-
He's
spiky.
the captain.
That's Onion Head, right?
No, that's
No.
not
Who's
Onion
Onion Head?
Head.
Onion
Who
Head
is
was
Onion
on
Head?
Alba Josai.
Alba Josai. Okay. Because someone they called Onion Head.
Yeah.
I thought it was him. But
Nope.
anyway. But
No, they call him Turnip Head, not Onion Head. I don't
It's
think.
Onion Head.
Is
it's
it Onion
It's
Head?
Onion Head. What's the diff? What's your score?
So for the first season, I gave it a 9.
Out of
9.
how many what's?
Out of volleyballs.
Okay. 9 out of volleyballs. Perfect metric. Okay.
No one can beat that.
No one can beat that.
And
It's like dividing by 0.
easy.
second and third season is 10.
Wow. I'd actually rank season 1 and 3 as 10s. This is 3 so far I've seen has been, because it's one game. It's so intense so far. But 1 and 3 to me are probably 95s, and the middle one's probably like 89. But there's something that 89 comes from a different place, much more character development than action. But
Yeah.
that's interesting.
That's very hot.
It is.
'Cause I just think season 2 was like absolutely destroyed season 1. Like in terms of like all the like stuff we got to see. Plus they didn't suck ass at volleyball anymore, so that was really
Well,
nice.
that's
But I
the
like to see
thing,
them suck and
yeah,
then not suck.
That's
I like
why
That's
I feel
literally
like,
the entire season 2. They
Yeah.
suck
That's
and then
season
not
1
suck.
though. Season 1 they look so good. Like at the end of it, they look so good from when they started. Are you kidding? In season 1?
Yeah, but they didn't even make it to they're not even in the finals of that. That's a quarterfinal game they lose.
Right, but they still look like the disparity between them at the beginning of that first season at the end of that season was way bigger to me than the beginning of season 2 to the end of season 2.
So the ending of season 1, why it's so impactful to most people is because the main team lost.
I didn't expect that.
I wholly expected that because they sucked compared to Oba Josai.
I thought they were gonna slay all the way, and then it was gonna be like, okay, we just beat this tournament, we're going to nationals.
Yeah,
let's
that's
crush
the
it.
thing.
And when they just subversed, it
Yeah.
was whoa.
And that's the thing
Okay.
with sports shows, the main team usually wins all the time. And sometimes that gets tiring. But with this show, the first season of a sports anime, the main team lost. And that's why it's so impactful.
That was big for me.
And that's why it's
That's interesting
so
because
widely
I knew
popular.
100% they were going to lose. And I also, like, they lose so much in the second season. I related to that significantly more than I would relate to a team that wins nonstop.
Yeah.
Because, like, hockey team down south, like I, played, we had our fair share of winning seasons and our fair share of getting our asses beat every game.
Yeah.
I got my ass beat a lot at tennis, but it's like that's what I'm saying. I was expecting this. They started underdogs, and they're just gonna totally have this blaze of glory all the way to the top, but they didn't, and it was way more humanizing, and it felt so good and raw that they are still ready to get up and try again.
Is this the most human show you've ever watched?
Most human anime?
Yeah.
It's up there in the genre of shoujo. I mean, it's not shoujo, whatever. In shonen, we have a shoujo expert here. What are you gonna do? Shonen. As far as shonen goes, it was probably the most like grounded, realistic.
It's very grounded. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels good to watch. Very wholesome.
Concur.
Yes. So I guess that's honestly it.
Where can they check you out on Anime Summit?
Links. Wait, what was it again?
We gave you a plug spot. You're fumbling the ball, my girl.
Sorry. Links.animesummit.net. That's where you can find all of the goodies. Our YouTube channel. We actually have 2 YouTube channels. We have our main YouTube channel where all our episodes come up, and then we also have Anime Summit Extra, where Sam, me, myself, like we just like stream video games. There's a couple of videos there where Nick went to Anime Expo in California with Mac, and they did some unboxing of like the goodies that they got at the convention.
I watched those.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How were they?
They're interesting.
Okay.
They bought like way too much shit.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
Nick, if by any stretch of the imagination you're listening right now, dog, that was insane.
I'm going to call protective services on your wallets. You've
For
clearly
real.
abused those poor wallets.
Yeah. He didn't do an unboxing.
401k, my guy.
Yeah. No, he went ham. So, but yeah, and then we got our Discord, so it's on the link tree. Join our Discord. We're on there all the time. You get to talk to me, Sam, and Nick, and just have
I'm in
fun.
there too. If you just want to like,
they're a hoot to talk to too.
Yeah.
I need to jump on that. I feel like I have the link.
Well, you have to, and if you want to be on our podcast,
There you go.
that's
the
our
ultimatum
source.
has been set.
Literally, that's our source of communication.
Okay.
So.
I'm into it. After this episode, I'm locking it in. Okay. Anything? Your Instagram. Where can they find you on Instagram?
My personal Instagram.
Sure.
Or-
Why not?
that's what you want to
This
do.
is your
Or
plug.
the
This is your plug
MMA.
hour. Yeah.
You
this
get
is
to
your
plug
hour.
whatever you
Plug
want.
everything you want. Plug it all.
I mean, I guess my personal Instagram is Dannie. But Dannie is not spelled like Dani. It's spelled Dannie.
I'll put it right here.
Yeah. And then the Anime Summit podcast is that Instagram, and the Anime Summit podcast.
Hell yeah.
So
You guys are
Sweet.
out. You guys
Go
are
check
there
out
working.
their stuff.
Yeah. Where can you find us, Ethan?
Yeah, totally. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, and many more.
You can find us on YouTube. What's up, YouTube gang? Thank you for watching and checking out our visuals. We are hanging up the new Demon Slayer scroll that Dannie had very graciously given us last time she was here. We are very thankful for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm still waiting for my gift, by the way.
That is true. When it gets here, you are going to be so stoked.
Yeah.
And we'll let the
It's gonna
fans
blow
know
your
what it is.
freaking mind.
Yeah. So
You
I'll
actually-
have to come back
You will
on.
most definitely have received it by the time that this episode airs.
Probably, yeah.
sure.
No,
but
not
still.
probably. Most
You
definitely
will.
you will have received it.
But please, YouTube gang, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review and 5 stars. It really helps us out.
It's literally how I eat.
It's literally how this man eats. This poor boy has been eating nothing but mangas from Danny's wall, and it's a lot of good fiber, a lot of good carbs, but
No.
yeah, well, not as far as you know.
I
so.
will kill
I
him.
need 5 stars so I can go pay for
What exactly?
chocolate bars.
Actual things to eat.
Yeah.
But also check us out on Instagram at weebology.podcast. We got memes on memes every single day as best as we can. And I think that's all we have to plug. So
Do you smell that?
yeah, it smells like
They got burnt
I think it got learned.
and maybe like
A little bit turned.
turnt.
Aha! So this has been Weebology.
You guys
Thanks
are
for coming to
weird.
class.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm Ricky,
And I'm Ethan.
And I'm Dannie.
and this has been Weebology. Pieces.
Deuces.
Bye.
They got so. Ouch! Ouch!